Hi, my name is Marion. Welcome back to my MIP Project YouTube channel. This is episode 2 featuring the mock Grady trial experience. This field trip took place November 17th. It was the day before we gotten out for our Thanksgiving break. This day, I think it was like just before everything even I start explaining everything, I like to think that this whole mass casualty experience or mock trial was able to allow me to see how surgeons or how nurses or doctors react to different atmospheres that they're pushed into with just in general in a hospital type of environment. It made it easier for me to almost embody them and to see what they're going through or what the situation that they've been put into, and it was able to allow me to see things through their perspective, and it gave me not a hands-on experience because I was just a patient in this scenario, but it was able to it allowed me to see what some of the doctors go through on a regular day-to-day basis. So this whole field trip process or whatever started the day before the trip. It was the 16th, and I had gotten a message in Teams from Miss Wallace saying to come to her room. And I went to her room to go get I learned that it was for a permission slip for this field trip, but it was the day before, so I had to rush and get everybody to sign the permission slip so that way I could go. But then the next morning, it was time for us to go. So this field trip was kind of sudden. So it was the morning after or the day after I got the permission slip signed. So we had to get to school. I don't know for sure when I got to school that day, but I know it was later than what we had to show up for FLC. So I'm gonna assume that was like 7:30, 7:45-ish. And while we were waiting there, Miss Wallace had told us, or Miss Wallace is our advisor, one of the advisors. So she told us that she didn't have a transportation for us to go until like the day before the field trip or yesterday, because I think she said that they canceled. There was some kind of situation where we didn't have a bus ride or any kind of ride to the trial. So she said we were lucky to be going. So that's what we did. The whole thing was an amazing experience. It was at around 8 we got on the bus. I don't remember the timestamps, but it was still morning time. So we had a limo bus, I guess you could say. So we rode on that, and we rode to the ambulance like warehouse or what have you. It was just a place where all the ambulances were homed near Grady. During that time, because Westlake wasn't the only school there. It was another school. I can't remember the name, but it wasn't just schools there. There were certain volunteers in the community. So different people had to put makeup on for different things. So when we got there, they had everybody put on a shirt, a bright yellow neon shirt that said mock casualty preparedness shirt. I do have a picture. I'm gonna insert it right here. So once they gave us a shirt, they had taken certain people out for certain scenarios. So they took out like 2 people from our school to be like a husband and wife, and they ended up going to the hospital first. And then they had the teachers select 2 people that were two students. They had 2 teachers pick out 2 students who would be like the very hurt, like severely hurt. So Miss Wallace had selected me because at that time I think I would got on her nerves, I think, but she had recommended me, and so they took me down the hall, and they put on makeup to me and the other person that they had selected. This person was from another school, but they put on makeup on everybody. And in that room, all everybody saw was blood, well, fake blood, fake bones, fake everything. So they had put me and the other girl who had severe injuries. They put us in they put us with this lady who did the arm thing. Well, she gave me a fractured arm, and I think there was something wrong with my head, like a concussion or something. So they put makeup on me and they put makeup on her, but like around the room from where we were sitting, everybody was just decked out in blood. They cut pants. They made sure that these people thought that this was a real thing, even though it obviously wasn't. Their hair was crazy. They ripped their shirts. There was blood on their hands, face, eyes. The blood was everywhere. So they really wanted to make sure that these people at the hospital, Grady Hospital, got a real hands-on experience or were able to create this mock trial so that way they know what to do to help this whole process go better. And I'm going to insert a photo of me. A picture of me and my injury that they had given me right here. And so after they gave me the injury, they were like, stay here for like 5 minutes, wait for everything to dry up and everything. So once I had gotten everything was dry and stuff, they had breakfast for everybody. So I went back to the room that they had everybody. And so the entire, there was just Panera. It was Panera bread, and there was OJ, orange juice, apple juice. They had muffins, breakfast sandwiches. They had coffee and everything in the room. So as I was getting sent back to the room, they were calling other kids so that way they could go get their makeup and stuff. And so at this point, everybody was taking pictures of my arm because I was like the most severe out of everybody there. And so then after everybody had gotten their makeup, they were like, oh, we are going to select those that appearance-wise have the worst injuries. So they chose like 5 people from Westlake Art School and then 5 people from the other school. I have no idea what their name was, or I just forgot. I feel like it starts with a C, but I don't know. So then they selected those people, and then those people got to ride in the ambulance to Grady Hospital. So we were able to get a hands-on like a real-on ride in the ambulance. It was like, of course it wasn't, because it wasn't a real thing. Not everybody was, or because it wasn't a real thing, there was a lot of people on the ambulance. So like usually, or in your mind, you would imagine it's just the patient, somebody who might want to ride with the patient, and then the 2 EMTs. But in this case, it was two EMTs. There was 2 people beside me, another person behind me, and another person to the right of me. And then they put me on a stretcher because I guess I was the most severe out of everybody there. So once they put us all on the ambulance, they drove. And I do have a quick little video and a picture of me in the ambulance that will be inserted right here.
You did not. Okay, that.
Adolescent females.
So then after they gave us a ride to the Grady Hospital, we walked in, of course, because they can't set aside all their resources just to give us the real experience, because it is a fake trial. While they were doing this fake trial, they also had real patients that they had to tend to. So we didn't get like, oh, if you're that hurt, they'll put you on a stretcher. No. The only time anybody was on a stretcher was when we were in the ambulance. But once we got to the hospital, they gave everybody a paper that gave them background, race, age, gender, sex. They had x-rays for certain people. And so after, I guess, they saw you, they categorized you like the green tags, red tags, or etc. And then one by one, they started taking us up into the hospital. And at this point, I didn't have any more videos or photos of this day. I think they told us that we couldn't do it anymore just because it is a hospital. They want to no confidential information put out there. So after that, I have no more videos or photos left. But after that, they put everybody on a stretcher that they could, or not a stretcher, but a hospital bed. So they took you up, looked at your x-rays. Your x-rays were on the photo or the paper that they gave you. So then they put me on the bed, they wheeled me up somewhere, and at this point, they put me on the side, and then I waited to be treated, essentially. So they looked at my things, they looked at my injuries, and then they put some kind of needle on me, like they taped it just so that way people would know. So then after they did like the initial check-in, then they sent me to CT. So then I was greeted by this nice lady. I don't remember her name again, but she was very nice. She was the one that took me to CT. So we were just sitting there chilling until they had came on over the intercom and said, this mock casualty trial is officially over. Return kids back to basically where we're supposed to go. And so Dr. Wimberly, who basically put the whole thing together for us, or allowed Westlake to come, she started collecting the kids, and then they put everybody into a auditorium. It was smaller than an auditorium, but it was still an auditorium type. And at this point, people were dirty. Like, they were even dirtier than they were before. So they passed out baby wipes and everything so that way everybody could get washed off, because at this point, it's not that far into the day, so we still had some time to waste. So after they gave us the wipes, and they gave us, they even had some snacks for everybody to choose from. So after we got the snacks and got wiped off and everything, some of the doctors came in and basically started explaining to us what this means to them, because this whole trial was able to basically practice in case that there was a mass casualty. And then they told us that this casualty was mocked from the train casualty that happened a few years back. And so after they gave us information about that, I think it was time for lunch. So they gave everybody a $10 card. And so they took us to the food courts that are inside of the hospital. And so inside, most people went to Chick-fil-A just because that's kind of just what everybody knows. Some people went to a wing place house right next to Chick-fil-A. But after everybody got food, and this was the situation where the lunch was free, but if you had something that cost more than what was on that card, then you had to pay out of your own pocket. But most of the meals that were offered were under $10, so most of us ate free. So then after we ate lunch, everybody got a certain bag. Mine is in my room somewhere, but everybody got a bag from Grady. It came with a shirt, a pen, and a notebook that everybody just got. So that was after we ate and all. And then after they gave us those bags and let everybody digest their food or what have you, they took us on a tour of the entire hospital. Like, they even told us that they changed, or how the hospital was changed into, so that way the hospital would form a letter H when you look at it from afar. So we were able to see where the medical law, or that medical law office is held, and they were able to give us a broad tour of where everything is, because at this point the casualty is over, so it's not like we could just roam around the hospital. So they took us outside the hospital, took us to where one of the first offices that they have were, and they just gave us an excellent tour of the entire facility. And at this point, this was the end of the tour. So after that, we had gotten back on the bus so that we could head back to school. And that was basically the end of the entire field trip. My overall experience for this field trip, I would say it was a great field trip. I want to say it was my favorite for right now, because SLC is coming up, and I don't know what SLC will be like, because SLC happens after this project is due. But I want to be able to continue this whole project, even after the project or showcase happens February 7th, because SLC doesn't happen till it doesn't happen till February 28th and lasts through March 2nd. So I won't be able to post anything about SLC, or my plan is not to post anything about SLC until after SLC happens, and I can give you an actual accurate video of SLC, including the pictures, videos, and hopefully some interviews that I can get from certain people about their experience. But at the end of the day, this was an excellent field trip. It gave people the experience or hands-on. It just changed a lot of people's point of view or perspective about a hospital. Well, that's what it did for me, at least. Like, I was able to see doctors in action, and because most people, I feel like, they watch Grey's Anatomy and they see chaos, like absolute chaos, when they watch these shows like Grey's Anatomy, because I'm a Grey's Anatomy fan. But when I watch Grey's Anatomy and me actually being in the hospital, I was able to connect some dots, and I was able to spot some differences between the two. And I think personally I learned to appreciate doctors even more than what I did before, because I feel like I'm the type of person that says you don't know what somebody's been through till you've been through it yourself. And no, I wasn't exactly through it myself, and it was a mock casual tragedy, or a mass casualty mock trial or whatever. It was very great for me. It opened a lot of doors for me, and it allowed me to see some things that I probably would not have seen earlier. So at the end of the day, I'd rate this a 9, 10 out of 10 at this point. But again, SLC might come up and that will blow all of this out the water, and I might say that that's my favorite. But so far, I like to say that this is my favorite. Come back to the next episode to see me talk about my SLC experience. Bye.